En una nueva edición de Entrevistas Metal Index, gracias a los amigos de Maldito Records, conversaremos con Erik Törnqvist, guitarrista y vocalista de la más importante banda de skate punk sueca, BLISTERHEAD. Sin más preámbulo, comenzamos.
Sean todas y todos bienvenidos a otro episodio de Metal Index. Mi nombre es Washington Ibáñez y en el día de hoy tenemos a una de las bandas de punk más importantes de Suecia. Hoy en Entrevistas Metal Index tenemos el honor de presentar a Erik Törnqvist, vocalista de la banda BLISTERHEAD. Thank you, Erik, for sharing this moment with us here in Metal Index.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and now our channel is yours too. How are you today?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to start this interview right now asking you about the beginning of the band. When BLISTERHEAD was born and how BLISTERHEAD was formed.
Well, we started the band in about 1999. It was the four of us, and actually it was me and Kim. We started talking about we like the same punk music, same bands, and we wanted to play something together. And we called up the other guys and said, if you want to join the band, and we just made it happen. And it's a long time ago.
Yeah, you define your sound as a street punk rock and roll. Is this the feeling of all of you in the band?
It's not as much as we define ourselves as street punk rock and roll. It's we got labeled as a street punk rock and roll band, and that's fine with us. We don't like to like point fingers in what kind of punk we play, but street punk rock and roll is that's a good description, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah, this is a personal question. Is a punk a way of life? Or is a punk a culture?
I think it's both. For me, punk is everything. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for punk. Both punk music and punk culture. It's been a major part of my whole life, and it made me who I am today.
And how is the punk movement in Sweden?
Right now, we have a punk movement, but it used to be bigger. Not so many bands are coming up these days. A few years ago, it was a lot more bands, but hopefully in the future there will be more angry teenagers that wants to start punk bands.
Yeah, I told you that because BLISTERHEAD has survived in a country where heavy metal dominates on rock music chart.
Yeah, that's true. We have a lot of metal bands and rock bands in Sweden. That's correct.
Most of the heavy metal bands like Opeth, Arch Enemy, Entomb, Dark Funeral are amazing, man.
Yeah,
and it's a big movement right there.
Yeah, it's a big movement in Sweden and in Scandinavia for metal bands. We have a big culture, but it's not that we don't like tour or play shows with metal bands. We never did. We never will.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Punk and heavy metal. And what do you think about the punk Britain scene and the US punk scene? For you, what do you like the most? What is your favorite one?
For me, I like the British punk scene more than the US. My favorite band is Rancid, of course. It's a US band, and the Ramones. But other than that, I listen to a lot of British old school punk bands like Sham 69, The Business, Buzzcocks, Cocksparrow, Cockney Rejects. So that's what I like.
Yeah, cool, really cool.
Yeah.
And let me talk about your discography. With Punk Your Royal, the first album, you began the music journey. Do you remember those days recording and touring?
Yeah, of course. We were only teenagers when we recorded Punk Royale. It was back in 2002, I think, or something. So we were not teenagers, but early 20s. And we were young, and we were restless and angry, and we just wanted to record an album that reflected the type of people that we were back then. And it was amazing to put out our first album.
Yeah, but with Via Casilina and Under the City Lights, you took some kind of different new elements. Tell me how the band felt that time about these records.
With Via Casilina, we were a bit older and we wanted to experiment a bit. It was not as raw as Punk Royale. We put some more time in the studio, which produced it a little bit more. And with Under the City Lights, we signed up with a more commercial label that wanted to make us like rock stars in a way, and they wanted to have like a radio sound to it, if you might say that. So it's a bit different from Punk Royale, of course, but it was still Blisterhead. It was still punk rock.
Yeah, but you had a huge gap between Under the City Lights and Tumbling Down for over 8 years.
Yeah.
What happened? Why did the band take so long for the new album?
Well, after Under the City Lights, we toured so much all the time. We toured and we played shows, and it was amazing and great. But we got tired, and it was exhausting. So without like deciding it, we just wanted to chill for a moment and take a little break. And at the same time, about the same time, we all started to like forming families and having kids, and we just needed a little bit of a break to breathe and to get that energy back.
But you never lost the friendship with all of you in the band?
No. We are a family. We're not just a band, we're a family. We've been together for like 22 years. And of course, sometimes you have fallouts, you disagree, you fight. But we'll always be friends, even if we have different opinions, musical opinions. It's we all stand on the same side in like humanity issues and politics. But sometimes you just disagree. But we will always be friends.
Okay, and now you signed with Maldito Records from Spain, making a new album called The Stormy Sea. Personally, you brought back your old style from the beginning. Did you want to take this old sound back?
Yeah, we wanted to make an album with high energy, not overproduced. Just go back a little bit to our roots, to the original sound, and we did record the whole album in like 5 days, I think. It was intense.
That was quick.
Yeah, but it's fast songs. So we didn't we didn't want to break down every little detail and do a takeover. We just, if it sounds good, it probably is good, and it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Mm-hmm. We wanted an album that was a punk rock album. Yeah.
So you did feel that bringing that sound, that old school sound. It will be a lot of difference between the second album and the third album, and now it's something different.
Yeah, it was more honest. We just got in the studio and just recorded it, and we didn't think too much about it. We just wanted to make a good album, and I think it turned out amazing.
Yeah. Now, how has been those feedbacks and different opinions about the Stormy Sea in the social media?
It's been good, really good, and we're really happy. We have great feedbacks all over the world. We worked with like Maldito Records has been a major part of the album, but we have also worked with smaller independent labels all over the world, and to distribute the music worldwide. And so we get the worldwide feedback, and it's been great, and we're very happy.
In the meantime, what is the plan with the band with the end of the pandemic and touring in Europe?
Well, we just have to wait and see when it's possible to tour again. We booked some shows in October in Sweden, and then hopefully we will go to Spain in I don't know, November maybe, if it's possible, and then Germany, Norway, and yeah, hopefully we will be coming to the States sometimes.
Okay, and we will see Blisterhead in Latin America someday.
Yeah, we would love to come. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And speaking of Latin America, do you know some kind of word in Spanish? Do you know any kind of word in Spanish?
Cerveza.
Cerveza. Okay. Cheers. Yeah, I think Spanish is hard to speak and learn. Yeah.
It's a beautiful language. Beautiful language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erik, it's time to say goodbye. But before that, I want to thank you and all the band for this interview.
Thank you.
It was so cool to talk to you today. But before we leave, send some kind of greetings to people who watches Metal Index.
All right, yeah. I think that all of you guys that love punk, metal, hard rock, and really good music should check out Metal Index on social media and YouTube. It's a great channel, great people, and you're the best.
Yeah, congratulations, Erik, for your band. It's amazing music that you did all over the years. It's a really good punk right now in Sweden.
Thank you.
Yeah. Y para todas aquellas personas que están viendo por primera vez el canal, no olviden suscribirse en YouTube. Dale click a la campanita para que no te pierdas absolutamente de lo que tenemos para ofrecerte semana a semana. Sin más nada que decir, Washington Ibáñez, Erik, hasta luego. See you.